So if there's one bait you're using on commercials this year, it is going to be pellets. And they're just something that I just wouldn't go to any commercial fishery without. But something at this time of the year, just when we're into spring, there's always that in between for me, soft or hard pellets. Which one is going to be the better option? Which one is going to be the option that I'm going to get the best out of my day? And it's quite difficult to decide, because if you make the wrong decision, it can affect massively what you end up catching. I'm at the Embryo Kiverton waters today, and there's a lot of new fish in here, and I thought they would respond really well to hard pellets. But that hasn't been the case. Soft pellets have been much better. And it was a reminder to me to sort of almost say to you guys, and to remind myself, what my process is when I sit down on a fishery and what I decide to use. So for me, I always want to try and catch on soft pellets. I believe that when a fish are picking up a softer bait, you get better bites. They almost seem to feed more confidently on those sort of baits. And if you can do it, it's a great way of fishing. For example, I've softened some 2 mils here today. They're soft all the way through. It means I can sort of feed this many sprinkled out over a nice little area. They're very attractive because they're nice and soft, and the fish can easily sort of suck them in. They don't have to crunch on a bait, if you like. And there's a massive something to be said for that, and that's been the way to do it today, along with a 4 mil expander on the hook, a nice soft pellet on the hook. So you might then be asking, okay, why then would you need why would I need hard pellets? Why would I even need to think about hard pellets? Well, for me, experience tells me that a lot of the time, a lot of the venues that we go in often have big heads of smaller fish like skimmers, roach, fish that almost like knock your pellet off, bang your bait about. They eat the soft pellet too easily. That's when that hard pellet can really make a difference. So what I've actually settled on today is I've been tapping in like sort of 30 or 40 micro pellets, soft micro pellets, and then using a catapult, I've been just putting like 4 or 5 hard 4 mil pellets over the top, and I'm fishing an expander on the hook. So if I get a problem, if when I'm fishing I think to myself, oh, you know, there's small fish, there's starting to be a bit of an issue here, I could put a banded harder pellet on the hook, even step it up in size to these 6 mil pellets. I could make that next progression to the 6 mil pellet. So like established carp venues, once we get going, you know, they're all up and down the country. You know where they are, where you go and you think, yeah, this is definitely carp. I'd be starting with hard 6 mil pellets. That's what the pellet I'd be starting with. But if I feel like I need that extra bit of attraction and I want those fish to come in and I just want to take a few bites to start with, I'd go with the soft. So I think my advice would be, if you don't know the type of fishing you're in for, if you're not exactly sure what you're going to be faced with, starting with that softer pellet, that more attractive pellet, that more easier to eat pellet is a much safer option. It's a much more conservative option. And if the fish are really want to feed, you'll actually find you'll catch them much, much easier. You don't obviously have to change a lot. My rig today is dead simple. You can see I've just got a set of shot 1 inch apart on top of my hook length here at the bottom of my 414's F1 pellet float, and all I've got on at the moment is a 6-inch hook length with a normal SFL, 16 SFL, so I can hook these expanders. All I'd need to do is, if I was getting problems, if I thought, do you know what, this is a real nightmare, I could just take that hook length off, open my hook length box, put one of my banded pellet hook lengths on here, and then I could just literally change to a hard pellet in the hook. And that means that I'm going to be able to adapt to the conditions on the day. So this is like a typical setup for any commercial. Make sure you do that this time of year. Make sure you've given yourself that soft option, and then if you think you need to convert it by problems with smaller fish, problems with your pellet coming off in the depth, anything that is all causing you issues, then make that change to a harder bait. If you think you can combine a bit of both, why not? Because sometimes that can give you the best results.